Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast where we try to figure it all out, with your hosts, Brandon and Colin. On this week's show, it's not fine, Jim.
Ahoy.
Ahoy!
What's going on?
Not a lot. How are you?
I think I'm fine. I'm trying to remember where all of my buttons are. I'm doing mobile recording right now. So hold on.
Oh dear.
My levels are very off, and I'm not in a good position because I forgot to test this before I jumped on.
What?
So I gotta put this over
it's
here.
Sound fine over here to me, so that's
okay.
I'm sure it means it's fine.
Sure, nothing could go wrong.
No, of course not.
No, where's my cable? Okay,
Oh dear,
this
is all gone wrong.
It really has. Just don't have enough on the mobile recording studio. Sorry for all the mic noise. There's just no room for anything. I'm so crowded.
There's a lot of mic noise, but it's all right.
It's fine. It's fine. It's the Foley work people.
Oh yeah.
For.
There you go.
Nope.
That, but it's fine.
Oh my gosh.
Your dad's. Where are you?
I am at dad's.
Just out in the woods somewhere.
You know what? How this week has gone, I wouldn't be surprised. If I was recording. I did think for a minute I am going to have to record like tethered to my phone on the side of a road one of these days because I'm just like trying to find more time. Just like oh my goodness. I have a suggestion for next year when we decide what time to do the family trip. Not end of June. That's just all I'm gonna say. I'm just not end of June.
Look, but we only did. Sorry, this is my fault. Right, because I'm going to be gone in July. So,
I know you are. International traveler over here.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. So, sorry. I can't.
Oh my gosh. No, it's fine. It's fine. Last year, it's also not good. Like last year, June was down for us. Like it was a dip in a month as far as like busyness and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I really didn't think that there would be much of an issue. And then all of a sudden it was like, dear Lord, like what is happening right now in my life?
Which it really is quite weird. Like, I don't know. Like what where are these people going? Like
I don't know. And like that's the thing too of it's not even like it's all these new people that we're getting. It's all of my old clients who didn't use me at all last year are like, oh yeah, about that. And we're getting our annual.
Well, that could be too, right? Like didn't do anything last year, right? So this year they're going to do a thing, right? Like that's how we do stuff. Like you can't do it all the time. So every couple of years, right? You got to go. So like, maybe that's it too. Like. It just hit a certain type of way last year, and now it's like, oh, surprise!
Yes,
now the other people are.
Yes, we have now this like we've grown our baseline over the last year of new clients, but we are now getting our quote unquote annually reoccurring clients of like every other year they come back, and boy, that's I can't do that. We've had people who have been reaching out to us who first used us 4 years ago, fell off the face of the earth, haven't heard a sound from these people. And then they're like, hey, I'm traveling in a week. I'm a previous client and I'm like blowing the dust off of my old records. Like, what?
Yeah, you got to find the binder. Like,
who are you?
Like you used our service once 5 years ago. What do you mean?
I had one person who they used us one time. Okay. Then a year later, they booked us and they immediately then canceled. And we have a cancellation policy where, like, depending on when you book and how, soon after you cancel, like, you get charged some money. And remember, they booked us one time. Then a year later, they booked us and then canceled. And I charged them money. And they said, well, I would think, as being a reoccurring client, you would make an exception for us. And I was like,
I mean, they are technically they are repeating.
Yes.
Right. Technically, they are correct. Right. Now, I think there's some semantics to be dealt with here, but
some say
they are, in fact, repeating.
In the strictest definition of the sense, they did come back, making him repeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, but I had my strangest, most high stress client acquisition yesterday.
That's saying quite a lot for you.
This one takes the cake.
Like, this is, I don't know, that is a loaded statement. I'm a little scared now. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little.
This one takes the cake. Never in 13 years have we done this.
Okay.
I get a call from a lady, and turns out there is a familial connection with this person that didn't influence how we move forward.
Right.
But this person
allegedly. Just kidding.
It's an old Boy Scout connection. Ready for this?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Person who lives in Springfield. I'll just say that.
Okay. That's fine. You can text me later. It's fine.
Okay. They called me and they said, hey, they live in Springfield. They said, hey, my sister lives in your hometown. So in the town that I actually live. Okay.
Yeah.
We are both traveling in Florida right now. She had a neighbor in her apartment who was supposed to be checking on her cats. That was a week ago. The landlord came in today, and the cats have not been checked on. I talked to my daughter-in-law, who's a vet in Springfield, and they recommended you to us because they knew that you served both Springfield and this other location. And I'm like, this is really niche already. Like,
this is very confusing, right? Like, what in the world is going on right now?
Like, there is exactly one company who could solve your problem right now, and it is in fact mine.
It is I.
And so I was like, well, like, put your sister on, and talked to her. And she's like super freaking out, like, obviously, because she just found out from the landlord that, like,
that's fair.
Her apartment is pretty trashed.
Yeah.
Because it's been over a week and the cats have not been touched. And she's supposed to be gone until the end of the month. Like, oh
no.
Yep. And I'm like, well, I literally have, like, and it, again, because of my town that I live in, everything is very close. And I'm like, I said, I can be there in 10 minutes. And I just need to but also she didn't have a key for access. So thankfully she called me while her landlord was still in his office. So I could go over there, talk to them, get the key access.
Hook me up. I'm an emergency guy. Hook me
with her permission. And he's like, who are you? Like, why are you here? Like, where are you from? And like,
I'm
10
the
minutes
problem
that way.
solver.
I'm here to take
Get
care
out
of
the way. I'm here.
And I spent
Buttercup.
Yeah. I spent 2 hours cleaning.
Oh my goodness.
And I didn't even get done.
Oh my goodness. Wowzer.
Yep. And you know, and then I'm like, well, look, like, I just told her, I was like, here's the plan. Like, here's what we do. I'm going to come over. I'm going to do a deep clean, get everything set up. Because right now, your cats aren't happy. They're stressed to the max. Their home is not clean, and they have no food. So I have to come in and get it up to a point where they're going to be comfortable to use the home again as their home. And then I said, and then after that, I'm going to come over. We're going to come over every single day. And even with that, the person was like, well, like, it's okay if it's not every day. And I'm like, look,
this is what happened already once.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not how we roll around here.
And that was the other thing. She was like, oh, well, my neighbor is such a nice person. And I could not stop myself.
Clearly they're not.
I said, before I realized it, I said, and look where that got us. I was like,
I mean, fair. That's fair, right? Like,
yeah. So I'm like, look, we're coming over every single day, and here's what you're going to get from us. And I sent her 75 photos my first visit with 4 walkthrough videos of various aspects of the apartment, showing her like the before and the after, and where the things were and how things were and how it was staged and what I had found and like what I had moved and what's over here and where the cats were, like, just like, and I'm playing, I turn on the TV and here's your pet tip. Peaceful pet music, calm music for pets on YouTube. She's based out of Florida. She makes these 18-hour loop videos that just play calm music in the background so that you can play for your pets while you're gone.
Just have sound.
Just have sound, right? I'm playing that. She'd also set it to 80 and auto on the fans.
So
I was like,
not 80. I know you're going to be gone, but like, there's still living things in your house, bro. Like 70, not 80.
70, and the fan is to run nonstop to ventilate this. Like, there was like the water was all over the floor. They were basically they were like 1 or 2 more days before they were out of food entirely. Like, and I'm just like, I'm leaving this place just like in shock of what I had just walked into. And I was even over again there today, tag teaming with my employee. She was taking care of the cats and scrubbing bowls and feeding and scooping litter. I was using thankfully the client had a little carpet cleaner that I was able to go into like each individual spot.
Do some of the
shot it with what Resolve or whatever it is, the big foaming carpet spray. And then using the machine and going around. I'm like, and still, like, I clean carpets still for another half hour. Spot treating stuff, not doing full carpet stuff, but just little spots. And I'm like, well, that's one way to get a client.
Not the preferred way, I guess, but
no, not for anybody. And honestly, like, if that had been in our remote area, like, if in Springfield, like couldn't have done that. Like,
no.
And it was genuinely, I just happened to we had just dropped the kids off at art camp, and they have a 3-hour art camp window. And I'm like, I have exactly 2 hours before I need to then come back and pick up my kids from camp. So like,
wowzer.
Let's do this.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Not recommend. So that was yesterday. And when I was trying to get to bed, my brain was still in home detailing mode. That's how I went to sleep.
Ew.
At 12:30 this morning, my brain was still
needed some soothing sounds, right?
I did need some soothing nature sounds. Yeah.
Like those videos of people that are just like, you've seen the walking videos, right? There's one, it's just like, they're like really, really long, and it's just like, they'll just be like walking through like a garden, like a park, or like walking through the city. There's some that I've watched before, like, to have, because sometimes I put a, like, when I'm working, not that I work at home very much, but like when I do, I like put my headphones on just to have like a noise to like, distract. And it's just like a dude like walking down a street in the city. That's it. That's all the video. It's just like walking. Or like a smaller town, right? But it's just like ambient walking. Sometimes it's raining. Sometimes it's just like walking, and there's like cars driving by and like other people walking by. It's like one of those things. It's just like
no, I have never heard of this before. I'm okay. Oh, I am watching a walk through the forest with me. Come fairies, come friends, let the magic begin.
Okay. Yeah, I've never watched that one, but like I have even sometimes like when I'm reading a book, right? Some things that I do, I haven't done this in a while actually, but like especially if Susan is working on stuff, right, in the apartment. So like we're both like I'm trying to read and she's trying to, I'll put my headphones in and like if it's a book that like takes place in an urban environment, right? You hit the urban background soundtrack, right?
Yes.
Bang.
The problem with this one at least, is that there's cutscenes. I don't want cutscenes.
No, the other ones I watched, it's just like a loop. It's basically just like 6 hours of just like ambient looping. Right, like
I watched one. Oh, okay, yeah. I watched one. What was this? We were in an Indian restaurant and waiting for our food, and they had a video playing of a guy who was walking across New Delhi or something like that. Like,
oh yeah, okay,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. And so that's when you said like the walking in an urban. I was like, oh wait, I have seen this.
Yeah. There you go. So maybe you need some of that, just noise.
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. It's an hour long one. Yeah. Okay. No, this is good. It's in 4K. It's a walking tour. It's just a guy with like a GoPro strapped to his head. It's great. It just it starts on one end and he just walks through the markets.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything.
Sweet, right?
Yeah. You what?
That's kind of sweet, right?
Yeah. It's really neat. I want to include that. Yeah. Yeah. This is the one. Why did I? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then, right. We were doing a unit study on the kids with the kids like on a global cities. And we were trying to show them like what life was like in different towns, right? Cause it's, we're in the Midwest of the US. True. And so it was like, how do I show them
some pictures soon? That's what I'll do.
Yes.
Ready.
I need strap your GoPro to your head. I need a walking tour. Okay?
Bro, here we go. What's up?
And so
imagine I did that, right? We have the Oh Brother walking tour channel and it's like Oslo, Copenhagen, Springfield.
This is
we could go to the nature center. Oh,
see, or the Greenway Trail.
Yeah,
that's what you would do.
Here we go. So, anyway, sorry, distracting.
No. Anyway, so that
I'll send some pictures. We'll hit them up.
Yeah, absolutely. We had shown them. I had gone back to this video to show them, remind them, like, yeah, this is what life is like in New Delhi. So yeah, that's really neat. Yeah, I definitely needed one of those. And Megan asked me the other day. Well, I asked her technically, and then I said, "How do you fall asleep?" And I just tried to describe to her how I fall asleep, and she said, "I think that's in a textbook somewhere for some."
Oh no! What are you doing?
But like, because I said, "How do you fall asleep?" And she is one of those who will watch a video until she falls asleep. And that's how she falls asleep. And I'm like, but what are you like thinking about? Like, what's going on in your brain? And she's like, I'm just watching the movie.
That's like, the point of the video, right? You'd not. Right. Yeah. That's what I do. I have to have like usually I turn the TV, like just the TV is just on to like something, usually something innocuous, like cooking show or like random Law and Order episode or just, like nothing like super interesting. Right. And it's just like, you just close your eyes and you just listen to the thing. Boom, asleep. Like that's how it works. That's
okay.
Usually, not all the time. If I go to sleep, especially now in the summertime, like if I try to go to sleep and I can't, I just get back up again. Like, nah, we're not ready. We're just gonna, I'm not going to sit here and be grumpy in bed about it. Nope. Get back up, go read, do something else, man, whatever.
I will tell you how I do this. And you let me know how weird this is.
This is going to traumatize me, isn't it?
I know.
That's what's about to happen.
No, I'm laying down. There has to be noise on, like a fan going. It has to be cold. Okay, obviously. Cold room.
Ambient ship sounds. That's what I need for. Oh, there we go. That's what you need, Colin. Yes, more.
Yeah, the sounds of rigging on the high seas.
Foreshadow it. Yes, hammocks.
It's basically what it is. No, I think this is just how my brain is wired normally during the day, is that it races, and it's hard to slow down. And so
I never would have guessed that.
Who knows, right? And so when I go to fall asleep, I have to put myself in a situation and scrutinize over every detail of everything that's going on. So it's not like
it makes going to sleep the most stressful thing ever. Like,
no. So here's what I typically do. I typically start at the top of Dad's driveway, and I walk down the driveway.
Okay, I'm understanding. Okay,
right.
Okay, I see. You're focusing on other things, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm doing with the Law and Order episode.
Okay,
just listening to the sounds instead.
I'm hyper visualizing everything around me, like where the trees are, where the how the grass is moving, like what are the clouds going on, like putting myself in real time in a situation, and that is what will ultimately put me to sleep. Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
But, that's what Megan said. That was the silence that followed when Megan said that.
That's whatever. I mean, like, I don't like to, like, I don't know. That would be good, I guess, if you're in a place where, like, there's no sound, right? Because I don't like that, right? There's, like, no, it's, like, just dead quiet everywhere. Like, I can't deal with this. Like, what is happening? Like, no. Like, I need something. Like, when I was younger, I used to, like, have the radio, right? You know, similar idea, just like the radio on, like, but like barely on, you know what I mean? Like mega quiet. Like that. Just have some kind of something, right? Because I don't like it when it's too quiet. It's annoying.
Yeah. No, I have got to have that white noise going for sure. But I used to be able to fall asleep to podcasts and like that kind of stuff that's just talking. I can't anymore. Now
because you want to listen. Right?
I want, I'll even go back and listen to old episodes, ones that I know I've heard before, just like, and have it on real low. But then I'm like, no, my brain is attuned and I am listening to this. And
that's true. Yeah.
And I can't have words, no words, nothing moving. So that evaded me last night for a very long time, but here we are.
That's fair. Yeah, I've had the opposite. Like we had, like I am at the point now where like I'm not going to, like I have always struggled with like going to bed, right? Like I don't go to bed at like, I know people, some of my friends are like, oh yeah, I'm getting ready to go to bed. It's like 10 o'clock. I'm like, bro, what? No. Why? Whatever. Like Susan goes to bed much earlier than me. So I'm just like up, right? I've always been like this, just up. Right. Well, now it's summer, so it like exacerbates and gets worse very quickly because I don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Right. So I'm up all night or whatever. Not all night, but like I'm up late and whatever. And then like, but for the past 2 days, Susan's had to get up early for doing stuff. Like she's been doing like garage sale stuff with like one of her friends, like, you know, just, you know, like, you know. And so the past 2 days, she's been up at like 5 o'clock and I'm like, I can hear her going about her day, right? She says she's being quiet. She can hear me right now, probably, but she's not as sneaky as she thinks she is, right? She's over. So I'm just like, get up, you know, whatever, like, fine. But it's like, so all day I just feel like, I'm very tired.
Oh no, yeah.
I didn't sleep.
And
then I was asleep, but then I got up early under. Not of my own version.
Under duress. It's fine. You can say it.
Under duress. Yeah, it's fine. I'm going to think duress when she comes in here and hears me talking. Oh, here she comes. There she is.
Oh, no. Hi.
You just yelled, I can hear you.
Anyway. Yeah, this week has been a lot, but I found some good news articles.
You did
that I wanted to bring to your attention.
I love good news. All the world is only full of bad news currently.
I know. So other people may have heard of these already, but that's fine. I don't care. First, good news, and I'll include links in show notes. Attenborough's echidna was rediscovered by using indigenous knowledge with camera trapping.
Let's go.
A once thought extinct echidna on New Guinea is now no longer extinct and has now been found because of basically they talked to people who lived there and they said, "Hey, is this still around?" And they went, "Yeah, it's over there."
They're like, "Yeah."
And then they set up a camera. Okay, like it's fine.
This does happen a lot in places like New Guinea, right? Because like I want you to people in the United States, right? International listeners may have a different perspective on here, but like people in the U.S., you think like, oh yeah, I've been to a place where there's no people, like Wyoming, right? No. New Guinea is nuts. Like, how you for sure that something is not alive somewhere in the middle of a forest in New Guinea?
Right.
How you know? Yeah, like, come on. It's very difficult, I feel like, to be like, yes, this is absolutely extinct. What?
But is it? Right.
But is it? Like, well, where does it live? Well, it lives in New Guinea. Bro, no.
Right.
I don't believe you.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and that's a good point because it lives in a narrow band in the mountains. And so they
in like the remotest place ever.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so they just hadn't seen this in, what did it say? Named after, was described as a new species in 1998 after having been collected in 1960.
So just yesterday, really. Like it was just.
Yes. Yeah. And basically they had found one. And they were like, well, we don't know where this is. And we haven't seen it in 2020. They're like, we haven't seen this in over 20 years. But they deployed cameras 2 years ago and found it. And I love how they one of the shots is of the echidna walking away, and the way it lifts up its foot, they get a full picture of its pad, and and that was one of the key identifying features of the pad at the bottom of its foot. I'm like, now that was a very fortuitous shot because
planned perfectly. Right.
And like, they could be like, to the left, please.
Yeah.
Hold right. So this made me very excited because echidnas are freaking adorable.
I do love echidnas. Right. I think they're adorable.
Yes.
I think that's generally my go-to answer when people, because like in the elementary and middle school setting, like you were often asked questions like, what is your favorite animal?
Oh, yeah.
Right. It's just a thing that kids ask you like out of the blue with no context or background. Sure. They'll just ask you this question. So you got to be prepared. And I think echidna, right, is definitely one of my go-to answers. Number one, because I find them fascinating. And number two, really catches people off guard. And I was like, what? And not expecting that.
No.
And not expecting you to say short-billed echidna, right? They're not ready for that in their life. So that is the other reason I like to say that, because it's really funny.
It is good. To do. Yes. Yeah. And they're just so cute. And I learned in this research paper that echidnas, they feed by poking their nose in the ground, searching for invertebrates. And this is the long nose echidna.
Yeah.
I will say. Those are called nose pokes. And that's adorable. And
good name.
And they can look for echidna activity by identifying nose pokes in the ground. And I love that so much. That makes me really happy.
So the real question is, what do Australian scientists call them? Because we know that it has to be a shorter version of that. So they probably just go, it's a pokey track, isn't it? Like, that's just what they call it, probably. Like, something crazy. Sorry for the bad accent, ladies and gentlemen, down under, but it's true.
It's perfect. Yeah.
You know that, it's true. So,
yep. You do. You can't deny it. So don't try. Yes. So that was my first bit of good news. And then, not but 3 days ago.
But wait.
If an echidna were not more enough, Captain Cook's HMS Endeavour.
Oh, I saw that.
Found in the waters off Rhode Island.
Yeah.
What I absolutely love about this is that in the article, it does admit that like 30 or 40 years ago, somebody was like, it's probably over there. Right. And then
and they just like never got around to check about it. Yeah.
Never around to it. And here it is. We found. And that's
pretty crazy.
I'm very excited about this.
Yeah. Good old Captain Cook.
Yes. So found the Endeavor. Now.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So that was my other good news.
It is good news.
From this week.
Right. I only have more things to rant about this week. Right.
I love it.
I have Brandon's rant of the week. Right. So I know there's a lot of political mess going on in the world, but I do have a somewhat political topic to talk about. I want to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Right. I want to rant about this nonsense for a minute. All right. Just a minute. Right. And the gall of professional sports teams in the United States, right? So international friends, I do need your help to understand. I want to know if there's like a difference, if this works differently other places, right? I need to know how this works. But currently, the Chiefs are whining because their stadium's not like new enough, right? Granted, is Chief Stadium old? Yes, right? But do they just want to renovate it so they can charge even higher ticket prices for people? Yes. Also, yes. Right. So they've decided that they're like, they want the people of Kansas City to pass a tax referendum to finance their stadium upgrade. This is garbage, right? Like, what in the world? The Chiefs are worth somewhere, at least online rough estimates I found briefly by Googling today, $4.5 billion. Right? Their renovations are going to cost somewhere around $1 billion. And they want the people of Kansas City and Missouri to pay for at least half of this.
Yeah.
The nerve. Right? Then they talk about like, oh, it brings economic, stuff to the area. Like, that might be true, but that benefit is dwarfed by the benefit that's going directly to you. Right? Like, if the city's getting some money, you better believe the owners of the Chiefs are getting even more.
Even more money.
Right? There's all this like nonsense, right? Like, oh, my favorite part about this rather is like the people are like, oh, move the Kansas City Chiefs to Kansas City, Kansas. First of all, why? Nobody wants to go to the Kansas part of Kansas City. Okay, that's illegal.
Right.
But second of all, like it doesn't really matter that much, right? They're like, oh, we'll give you like many, many dollars if you move the entire stadium to the Kansas half of the border.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean you're going to give them money? Like, that's that. No, hold on. What exactly backwards discussion is happening here, right? Like, the Chiefs are already going to be using the infrastructure, the roads and stuff paid for by the city, right? You're going to give them land and money to build a state. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Well,
and other teams do this too. There are some owners that just like finance it themselves because these people are multi-billionaires. And if they want new stadium, they can just buy it, right? It's not like they won't even notice money's gone. They'll be like, man, whatever. But like, what? How is this the duty of a citizen who may not even care about football?
That is
to pay for your ridiculous stadium. This is why the Rams left St. Louis, because St. Louis was like, no, you're done. No one cares. Get out. Right? Yeah. Like, I know that for all intents and purposes, the Rams were a worse team, but still, right? They're leveraging this like ridiculous Super Bowl streak here. Like, oh, that means we could get more money from these sucker taxpayers. I mean, fans of the team. Guys, they're just watching this unfold as like they argue about this in like the state House of Representatives. You're like, guys, seriously, right now? Like, what?
Yeah,
you're not going to fund the schools, but you're going to give the Chiefs money. The Chiefs don't need any more money. What are you going to stop it?
Well, and it shows the mindset of how these city teams or whatever are viewed as like a public good or a public asset, when in fact they are private entities. And that is the distinction.
Except for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, okay.
I know that to be true.
Send them over to the side. Yes. Okay. Yes. But it's like whenever we had somebody who came to us who wanted us to help them get a nonprofit off the ground. And then halfway through, they said, you know what? Actually, I'm going to retain. And they were like, here's going to be the board structure. Here's going to be how we set up governance and all this stuff. And we're going to help fundraise and we're going to get community involvement to make this a thing. And Megan and I were like, yes, here we are. We're doing this thing. And then they went, actually, I'm going to go ahead and just maintain control and ownership of this. And I'm going to keep it a for-profit for right now. But I'd still like to have all of the volunteers help me get it off the ground and contribute their efforts to make this a success.
That's no.
And I remember going, I went
free labor.
That's not. But you're running a business, right? Like, and now you're asking the community
to not
help
pay. Yeah,
your business. No, that's not how this works at all. Like, you can talk about community mindset and we're all a family here and we're all about you can talk about that, but you're a business. And so if you want something as a business, you pay for it, right? Like, if you want to have the community director, you pay that person. Oh, you can't afford them? Well, then you don't get community director.
Sorry. Yeah, right? Like,
oh, you want stadium upgrades? Then you pay for them. Oh, you can't afford them? Then you don't get the upgrades, right? Like, run your business better. And it's really frustrating when they're like, okay, well, now we'd like a handout from the citizens of the state and city to help us build this so that we can make more money. What?
No.
I'm right there with you on this.
These are the same people that talk about bootstraps. And, right, like, oh, well, you're poor. Well, you should just work harder. Have you ever thought about that? Have you thought about working harder? You wouldn't be poor. Like, bro, wait a minute. You want free money from the taxpayers and the government to put in seats. What happened to bootstraps, bub? Where'd that go?
Right. Yep.
Like,
yep. And then I look at, like, I don't know, like, any big project like that is going to have some sort of incentives, because then I think of the Las Vegas Eye, right? That cost over $1 billion to make.
Yeah, for question mark reasons. Like,
not really sure.
I don't really know.
But like, I don't know. Like, you can go out and spend money however you want. Like, you don't just, if you have it, go ahead. But anyway,
if I do that and then I run out of money, then you go, sucks to suck, loser. What are you doing?
Right. Like you manage your house better, buddy.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. Now, hold on. What is going on? So that was all I just wanted to complain about a little bit. Because this has been going on for weeks. And I'm just like, this is the most idiotic thing ever. It's so dumb. Why is this a thing that we're talking about and complaining about? It is absolutely ridiculous. So, yes, there you go. Sorry, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Is poor usage of taxes. Right? There you go. An actual By the way, that's an actual political take. How do you spend tax money? There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. In case you're curious, that is.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, we should move on to talk about
there you go.
chapter.
Wait, before we move on,
yes, we can't.
We have to talk about our sea shanty of the week.
We do indeed.
Right? Boom. Now, full disclosure, this is technically more of a sea song, right? Not so much a work song, but a for fun song, right? This is Spanish Ladies, right? There you go.
I do not know this one.
You don't know this one? You don't know the farewell and adieu to you, Spanish ladies? Farewell and adieu to the ladies of Spain. Boom, that one, right?
I'm going to listen.
We sail for old England. We hope in a short time to see you again.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, right. So this song is at least from sometime in the 1790s. Right. That's when it was for one of this, according to this, the first time it was written down. So maybe a little bit older. But it was really popular on British ships because they were like, so the British Army were going to like fight against the French. So they were traveling through Spain. Sounds like they got a bit distracted on their way to fight the French, right?
So how did that end up again? I don't
got a little sidetracked, right?
Yep.
Right. So they wrote a song because they got sidetracked by all the Spanish babes, apparently. So that's what they.
Nice.
Very popular song, but you might know this song. This is the song that Quint sings in Jaws.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you know this from media anywhere, this is what, the Robert Shaw's character, he sings this kind of on the boat. Like he just sings the first part of this song, right? So there you go. But that is our song of the week. Spanish Ladies.
Nice.
There you go.
Okay.
So, there you go. All right, now on to book action, right? We talked about, let's see, I forgot to back up. So we are headed out to the ship, right? Some time has passed since all of the last little bit occurred. We don't quite know how long. It just says, the opening line says, it was longer than the squire imagined. Ere we were ready for the sea. Now, I don't really know how long he was expecting this to take, right? But it seems to me, as an uneducated sailor, that if you're going to get a ship, get provisions for ship, get a captain and crew for ship, this should probably take like quite a while. Right? And the squire seemed to think that like we'll be gone in a week. Like that's not how this works. Like I think he's imagining that there's just ships out there just like fully crewed and ready to go, and if you just rock up and are like, hey bro, I'd like to charter your ship please, they're like, okay cool. That's not how this works, right? I don't.
Right. Well, this was in the era where some of the first insurances were coming about for cargo and for ships and crew for these kind of things too. So other people had your similar ideas.
Sure, yeah. There's like, let's go. Whatever. So Jim's like hanging out and he gets a letter, right? And this letter, not.
Oh
God. This is bad foreshadowing right here, ladies and gentlemen. Like laid out right here, right? He sent a letter. He didn't know where the doctor was going to be, so he sent 2 letters to London and to wherever Jim is, right? And he's like, the ship is bought and fitted, and it's ready to go. But then, like as we're reading this letter, it becomes clear that the squire has just told absolutely everyone in the whole entire world the plan for the journey.
Yes.
Which is exactly the opposite of what the doctor talked about doing.
Specifically, there's a part here where he says, Dr. Livesey will not like that. The squire has been talking after all.
Yes. It's just and it's like, oh yeah, I it's great. I by the merest of accident, we fell into a talk, and it just came up, and this guy, he volunteered to go with me. He even volunteered to help get some crew because he knew some dudes to go in the
yeah.
This is not like the squire is clearly thinking like this is great, right? This is a great thing. This is bad, right? This is this is not good.
And yeah, because he said, I was standing on the dock when by the merest accident, I fell in the talk with him. He was an old sailor, right? Like, oh no. Yeah. It's all gone bad. And he's really liking this Long John guy. He's lost a leg. Oh, he also doesn't even collect a pension for a service. Can you believe that?
Oh, right? No, yeah. He sailed with Hawke, right? With Admiral Hawke, right? Admiral Hawke beat the French. So obviously he's a great British hero.
Yes.
But later on, down in the postscript, right?
Oh, I love the postscript.
The postscript is ridiculous, right? So he's like, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, the Silver is a man of substance. I know of my own knowledge. He has a bank account. Yeah, there you go. He's got a wife. So, no, nothing suspicious here.
Right. No,
my man.
and I think I didn't know if he was trying to say this of like, look, he's basically he's an established, reputable man.
Yeah, that's what he's like saying, right? Like yes. He's got like a business and a bank account. And he's married, and blah blah blah. Like he has good finances, right? Like I don't know. I don't. This is ridiculous. I know.
And then
just like the worst.
And then the PPS.
By the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, mom exists. So
go say bye.
Yeah. So Jim doesn't really put it together until he sees, like he goes to see his mom, like he's talking to his mom, and they've hired like another guy to like help her out, and he's like, he's like, oh,
as an apprentice.
This is when I realized I'm leaving, right? Because there's some other random dude here, some other random kid here to help out my mom. Right? I had my first attack of tears. I'm afraid I led the boy a dog's life, for he was new to the work, and I had 100 opportunities of setting him right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it tells you where the attention is. He said, before that, he said, I had thought up to that moment of the adventures before me, not at all of the home that I was leaving.
Yeah.
Right. Again, of the where priorities are, like where your head is, and hot and heady, ready for adventure kind of thing is all that's he's been thinking about up to this point.
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, mom. Right. Dang it.
And then after dinner, we're off.
Yeah, we get a nice fast traveling thing. He I guess they go overnight because he's like, I wake up and he's like, where are we? Bristol. Ah, how handy! Like, so we slept through.
I love that
the journey, right? It's
and
nice.
We're here,
and we're here. Boom! Surprise! And it just so happens the doctor came from London last night, so we're ready to go. The squire's like, woohoo! We're gonna sail tomorrow.
There was this line in here again. now rereading this in the light of like, okay, this is a coming of age story of, okay, we're seeing a little bit of this of the, I thought of adventure and not of the home I left behind. There's another line in here that I thought was really poignant right towards the end of the chapter where he said he's walking along, seeing all the rigging, people coming and going and everything. And he says, though I had lived by the shore all my life, I seemed never to have been near the sea till then.
Yeah. Right. He was like, he like notices all this stuff. He talks about, I'm actually going to see myself in a schooner with a piping boatswain and a pigtailed singing seaman to sea, bound for an unknown island and to seek for buried treasure. Right. So yeah, he's kind of like, I've been by the sea, but my life has been the inn. Right. So this is like a big, like, even though like the scenery is familiar, like the life is not. So this is going to be some eye-opening stuff here, right? So that is. See, was there anything else I was going to talk about here? I don't remember. No, nope. Just the thing. Oh, right. I was going to mention that officially. Right. This is they're going in the, by the way, the name of the boat is the Hispaniola. Right.
Yeah.
Boom. Is referred to as a schooner. Right. So officially, this means we have multiple masts. Right. Rigging on at least 2 masts. So it's a larger boat. Right. So that is important. I just want to get my nautical vocabulary here. So we have fore and aft sails. So multiple sails, bigger boat. That's a schooner, right? So I just want to make sure that we know that, right? Because I want to get this right. I was watching a show the other day, and they kept calling the boat the wrong thing. It was like a running gag for like the whole thing. So I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, sure.
I just want to make sure we know what a schooner is, right? Because I'm not really sure. Boat vocabulary, ship vocabulary. Sorry, it's a bit confusing. So I just want to know more. 2 masts, sails fore and aft, right? So there you go. Boom. Schooner. There.
Schooner. Okay. Yes. Yep.
Right.
And then we get our squires. Sir, I cried, when do we sail? Sail?
Yes. Sail? God,
sail
he's going to repeat everything again. Oh, my
God. I love this so much.
Oh, man. Now, chapter 8, we have even more foreshadowing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so bad, man.
Yeah.
Like, so they go, right? It's the next day. He's got to go fetch the cook, right? So he's like, oh, here is the cook, Mr. John Silver, at the sign of the spyglass. Again, this is some foreshadowing, right? What's the name of the mountain on the map of the book? Oh, is it Spyglass Mountain?
We don't know yet.
Anyway, we do know. They talked about it.
No, I'm kidding.
Jim talked about thinking about like seeing it because he's studying the map.
Yeah.
Right? So, or was that after this? I'm not really sure.
No, anyway, he talked about how he had walked those
the hills and stuff. Yeah. And see the island from the spyglass, right? And so here we got a guy who just so happens to know all about the sea at an inn called the Spyglass. Coincidence, surely, right?
Yeah.
This is the part that's pretty ridiculous, right? So he goes in and he does mention it, right? He sees, as I was waiting, a man came out of the side room, and at a glance, I was sure he must be Long John. His left leg was cut off close to the hip, and under the left shoulder, he carried a crutch, which he managed with wonderful dexterity, hopping upon it like a bird.
Yes.
Jim, buddy, right? He mentions it a little bit later
because he says, now to tell you the truth, from the very first mention of Long John in Squire Trelawney's letter, I had taken a fear in my mind that he might prove to be the very one-legged sailor whom I had to watch for so long at the old Benbow.
Yeah.
But one look at the man before he was enough.
I had seen the captain and Black Dog and the blind man, Pew, and I thought I knew what a buccaneer was like. A very different creature, according to me, from this clean and pleasant-tempered landlord. Jim. 3 whole chapter. A crazy drunken captain was raving to you about a one-legged man. You had nightmares about this man, right? You see a one-legged man and you go, your first thought is, oh, he looks friendly. Brother, what?
Oh, look at the nice man.
Jim, really? Stranger danger. Jim, but Jim is getting abducted, right? This kid, he is going to the van with candy in it, right? This
He's getting bamboozled.
He is, so bad, right? Like, so bad, right? He even we even get this weird exchange where he's like kind of being real terse and blah blah, and he's like, oh, excuse me, Mr. Silver, and he's like, oh yes, boy, yes, of course. Like, it's like he flips a switch. Like, he is, you can see in the writing that he's talking to somebody, he's being all rough and grumble and blah blah, and then whenever Jim talks, he goes, yes, my young man,
quite loud, and offering his hand as if to be, I don't know, a signal to somebody, right?
Yeah, like, oh, Jim, you say? Good to see. Like, what? Pipe down, boys. It's Jim. Right? And even after this, right? Just then, one of the customers at the far side rose suddenly and made for the door. I was close by him, and he was out in the streets in a moment. But his hurry had attracted my notice, and I recognized him at a glance. It was the tallow-faced man wanting 2 fingers who had come first to the Admiral Bimbo. Right? It's Black Dog. He's just in here nonchalantly, and then he's like, it's Black Dog, and Silver's like, who's that?
What? Yeah, all the feigned.
He's like, what? Black, what'd you say his name was again? Black Duck?
Yes.
Oh, Black Dog, right? Yeah, I've never seen that guy before. So weird that you would recognize him, but I didn't know that, Jim. And he's now that I know that he's a he
calls to the guy who he was talking to, and he's like, did you know it was this guy? Right?
Yeah. Guy's like, no, Morgan. Yeah, this is Morgan guy. He's like, did you know him, Morgan? No, you never did clap eyes on what's his name? Black Bog before, did you? No, sir. Well, you didn't know his name, did you? Well, no, sir. Well,
my powers, it's as good for you, because if you had been mixed up with the likes of that, you would have never put another foot in my house.
Yeah,
okay. And then he wanted to know what he was talking about, and it's like keel hauling. He's like, well, keel hauling was an imitable, suitable thing too, right? And then it's let's see, Black Dog. I don't know the name, and then he sends somebody to run after him, right? He's like, Ben's a good runner. For seamen run better than Ben. Few seamen run better than Ben. He should run him down, hand him over by the powers.
Yeah, right? He's like, oh, I didn't see him. It's like, well, guess he got away.
Yes, he got away. Yep. Yep. And then he admits here, Jim says, my suspicions had been thoroughly reawakened on finding Black Dog at the spyglass, and I watched the cook narrowly. But he was too deep and too ready and too clever for me. And by the time the 2 men had come back out of breath and confessed that they had lost the track in the crowd, I would have gone bail for the innocence of Long John Silver.
Duped.
He's been duped.
Duped. Right. Now, I know that both of us are sort of coming from this, we kind of know what's going to happen, right? But I think right here, this is quite obvious, right? I think even if you didn't know what was going to happen, this would be this is some dramatic irony action going on where you, the reader, now know.
Yes.
And Jim doesn't. right?
Nope.
So now there's like a tension built here that you know something that Jim doesn't know. You know more than the narrator right now, right? And so now you're like primed to be like, hold on, right? And you get some of the payoff of that already a little bit in the next chapter, right? You get more of that, right? So, do you have anything else about this one?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. There's some weird joke that they kind of go into, and now they're all laughing and making remarks, and there's I
have no idea what they're talking about.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, the score. There goes. Yeah, I was like, what? Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to know, right? I feel like you're supposed to kind of not know what's going on because Jim doesn't really know, right?
Jim doesn't know what's going
Jim's
on.
head.
Yes.
Right? Like,
and he's just kind of laughing and going along with it to pretend to like fit in, be one of the guys, like that kind of thing. So, and
yeah, but they're starting to use some like very heavy jargon, right? Like this chapter, we get very introduced to like the speech patterns of a sailor, right?
Yes.
And so I think at some points too, Jim is not quite following what's happening, right? Because sometimes, like some of these sentences, right? What a precious old sea calf I am. I'm sure that means something to somebody, not necessarily to me. So I don't, and definitely not to Jim. I tell you that. So I don't.
Yeah.
Like we're getting a glimpse that this is a whole new world, right? Like this is something very different from his inn. Like this inn he's in right now, very different from the Admiral Benbow.
Yeah.
Right? Both near the sea. The Bristol, no, whole other kettle of fish right here, right? So you were kind of getting some peaks that this is a whole deal. Yeah. So then we get to our next chapter here, 9, right? We talk about this. How this is like logistics chapter. It's pretty short.
Yeah.
Right. But we've met the captain now, Captain Smollett. And he's basically like, what in the heck is going on around here?
Yep.
He is not pleased, right? And the squire is like, what are you talking about? Everything's fine. He's like, what? Why are you doing it like this? Why are you going over there? Why is this guy sleeping in that guy? Why are they putting all the powder and guns over there by the crew quarters? No, like,
yeah,
like, that's a red flag, right? He's very not happy with that. He's very not happy with a lot of stuff. Like, who are these people? How come I didn't get to choose any of this crew? This guy is shifty as heck and I don't like him. Like, there's a lot of that going on, right? A lot of like, what is going on? Why are we doing this? I don't like this guy. I don't like any of these people, right? But and the squire is like, oh yeah, you're right, and you are correct. But I'm, any offense here is unintentional. We didn't mean to offend you. And he's like, no. And he doesn't like the Mr. Arrow, right? Whose job is, I don't remember quite what his job is, but it's a high ranking. He's supposed to be like an officer, right? Now, here is the context I have of this, right? So he says, I believe he's a good seaman, but he's too free with the crew to be a good officer. The mate should keep him. Oh, he's a mate, right?
Yeah.
The mate should keep himself to himself. He shouldn't drink with the men before the mast, right? And he's like, you mean he drinks? Cries the squire. He's like, it's a turn of phrase, you idiot. It's not what I mean. I mean, he's fraternizing with
this mix-up happens earlier because the captain also earlier says, especially when he's talking about the treasure, he says, especially when it has been told to the parrot. And the squire says, Silver's parrot? And he's like, no, it's a phrase about talking about those who talk. So we get some more comedic relief here with thanks to the squire.
But also a little bit of like the theme of parroting is going to show up a lot here.
A lot.
Right. We didn't mention. But like, anyway, back to Arrow, right? We get this. So again, not a sailor. Okay. Don't know a lot about this. However, I have some context for this, right? A little movie you may have heard of, a little underrated gem from the early 2000s, right? Quickly, I want to talk to you about Master and Commander, right?
Nice. Okay.
Russell Crowe action, right? Which is also apparently based on a book series. I have read the first book, Master and Commander, kind of boring, right?
Did really not know this.
Yeah, there's like a billion books apparently. I read the first one. I don't remember really loving it very much, but whatever. The movie's good. But in this movie, they have like one of the ship's mates, right? He struggles with being in command, right? And he is chastised by Russell Crowe saying, like, well, you can't be their friend, right? These people, the crew need you to be a leader, right? Because they're on like a naval ship, so again, stakes are a bit different, right? But you are on a naval ship in an active war, right?
Yeah,
so you can't be like being friends with people, right? You are not their friend, right? That's not how this works. It's not the dynamic we're going for here, right? And so that's a whole story arc in the whole movie. Is this guy struggle with that? Like he wants to be accepted, but like he doesn't do anything to earn their respect, right? So they don't respect him and won't listen to him, right? So that's this guy. It's a little suspicious with me knowing that bit of knowledge, right? It's a bit suspicious that he would just be like super friendly with all the crew, right? Like that's not, and clearly Clapton Smollett is also like, that's not how it's done. That's not how an officer behaves, right? That's not how it works, especially during this time, right? Like especially in the naval era of like the early 1800s or late 1700s, when this book is supposed to take place. Like definitely not then, right? Like
yeah, they had boundaries, right? They had roles, and they were supposed to follow them. And so basically we now start seeing that the captain is expecting his ship to be run a certain way, and right here where we can see that that's not going to happen.
That's not how it's working. And clearly, a part of this is because there's some things going on behind the scenes, but also part of this is because the squire is an idiot, right? And he doesn't know anything about anything. He just has the money to finance, right? But like he thinks that should make him be like in charge of stuff. But like, that's not that doesn't mean you're an expert in this field, right? You need to let the people that know what they're doing do stuff, right? And so like the captain is so upset about this. He's like, he's upset about all of these things, but he is the most upset because the entire crew knows that they are following a map to a buried treasure, and he didn't know anything about that, and he only knows about it because he heard the crew talking about it.
Yes.
And so now he's mega mad about that, which, to be fair, yes, right? You should definitely, right? The hands know it, sir, returned the captain. Well, that Livesey, that must have been you or Hawkins, cried the squire. Like, first of all, no, that's no, right?
Nope.
Because every accusation is a admission, right? Is that how
we all know? Yes.
Yep. It was Jim. Yeah, blame Jim for this.
Totally Jim, the guy who was out talking to all of these people.
Yeah, the guy who was at home with his mom and slept on the carriage rides all the way. Yeah, it was definitely Jim telling everybody.
Got him.
Yeah, wow. Not the guy who's been here in Bristol for weeks. No, it was Jim.
Definitely. Yeah. Let's get that kid over here.
Yep. So he's not, the captain doesn't really have a good feeling about this, right? He's not into it. He's not liking this. So he's not so not into it that he wants to quit exactly, right?
Right.
They even bring it up. They're like, do you fear like mutiny and that? And he's like, well, no, don't talk that way, because if I did, I wouldn't go. But also, maybe like I don't. We have seeds of doubt being planted here before the ship has sailed, we have a lot of seeds of doubt being sown that things are not going to go as planned, right? We have all this chapter specifically is like, okay, yo, look, like this and the last one, right? When we have like the mysterious appearance of a one-legged man who's totally cool and nothing suspicious and totally not bad. And then this chapter about like the outfitting of the ship, about how the crew is real sus, about how the crew knows a lot of information that they shouldn't know, about how the crew is conducting themselves, and why are they putting the guns next to the crew quarters and not by the captain? And which is, to me, as a non-shipman, that seems a bit red flaggy.
Yeah. Especially knowing what they're after, right? And why they're after.
Right. Yeah. So there we go. That's kind of it.
That's kind of it.
So they do at least go rectify. They start moving the powder to a different spot. There we go. And then they're getting ready to leave. Right. So
going well.
Yeah. So there are 2 chapters of like again, so we got some seeds, sowing the seeds of doubt here, kind of some we should be wary on our trip here.
Yes, definitely very, very wary.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Huh. So
it's a good build-up though.
Oh, it's great because it is the, this is a trope where the reader, the audience is more in the loop and aware than our protagonist or the characters.
And definitely more than the squire.
Oh my gosh.
That dude don't know anything about what's happening.
But like more than Squire, more than Jim, more than the doctor, like we all are like we're starting to see where these characters are coming into play, and it makes those character interactions all the more like frustrating whenever they do happen, because you're just like, Jim, could you not right, or whatever, like,
Jim, why you just blindly trust a dude with one leg for no reason? Like, what are you doing?
when who knows how long ago you admitted that it was keeping you up and you were terrified of what it was going to be, and you pictured monsters and horrible men coming after you, and now you're like,
we saw what happened to Billy, right? We saw what happened.
We did.
Billy Bones. Okay, we saw this whole thing, and now you're like, oh, this guy's so friendly and nice,
right?
But Jim, why are you even trusting anybody in this situation, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've seen, like, this is a very serious situation, right?
Yeah.
Clearly, the people like Black Dog and Pew, right? They were definitely ready to just straight up murder Billy Bones for the map, right? And any information he knew. Okay. And then you've been in danger. You were chased out of your inn by a squadron of villains.
Yeah, they were going to come murder you too, right?
Yeah,
that's
right.
Their
you
goal.
You had to flee with your mother. Okay. The townspeople were so afraid they wouldn't help you. Okay. And you're just going and just blindly trusting random people like Jim. Okay. This is the most obvious, like, signal that this is a coming of age story. Jim is like dense, man. Like, he's not really getting it right now. He doesn't. Even though he's been in extreme peril, he doesn't really seem to understand that he's still in peril, right? This is a perilous situation, not just like happy fun time. Like the squire thinks it's like happy fun time. Oh, we'll just go on a light little sail and just go dig up some treasure and we'll get all kinds of money. It'll be great. Right? Like, that's kind of how the squire thinks about things. I think the doctor is a little more serious about it, but we don't really hear his opinion on a lot of things because he's been gone, right, for most of the story so far. Then we got Jim, who's just like, I guess it's fine. Jim, no, it's not. It's not fine, Jim.
It's not fine. It's not fine.
Right? You've met, like, let's be honest. Okay, so we know basically that Billy Bones is a pirate, right? You've met personally, face to face, 3 pirates. Right? One of them you tolerated, right? 2 of them tried to kill you. Okay. Yep. And
this is not a good
track record.
Yeah.
Right? One of them kind of trusted you, but he was hiding from the other 2. Okay. He was hiding from them.
Yes.
And they were going to kill you and him. So yeah, let's think about this a little bit, buddy. Like, this is problematic.
Not working out, people.
It's not working out at all. It's very rough stuff. So,
not the best judgment of character. We can say that.
No, he really isn't.
Jim. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. See if he gets. See if he wakes up to this peril here. Right. We'll see what happens. See if there's any more signals that he's totally missing out on.
You mean all of them? Right.
Every signal ever. Like. So yeah. So we'll see how it goes next time. Yes. But yeah. Oh boy. This was a little hard to read just because of there was so much irony. You're just like, Jim, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Wanting. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Overall, it's good. I like how we're building the tension. Right.
It is good.
Because it's definitely like, we're definitely building to something here because we can see just how like poorly it's going. So
very, yes. Okay. Well, I have a haiku to
let's go.
Kick us off, lead us off here. Inspired by today's events.
Ooh.
Hey, blue stained fingertips, morning sun, quiet woods, a pail slowly fills.
Very nice. I like that one. That was good.
That's a reference to the blueberry picking that we went on.
Yes, I
enjoyed. We picked 11 pounds of blueberries.
Oh my goodness.
Well, so here's the thing. I am not competitive except when I want to be, and my wife is always competitive. And so
that's true.
There was 100% an unspoken competition going on between us about who was going to get the most blueberries by the time we needed to leave. I won over 3.5 pounds of blueberries, which is a lot of blueberries.
It's a lot of blueberries.
A lot of blueberries. And Lil would have had more had she just not been eating them off of the bush the entire time.
You still got to pay for those, Lily.
When I saw what she was doing, I was like, honey, we have to pay for blueberries. Put them in the bucket. And she was like, they're just so good. I was like, after we in the car.
Yeah.
Put them in the bucket.
Weigh her before and after, right?
I should here's my daughter, set her on the scale. I'll pay for whatever the difference is.
Yeah. Before and after we got it there. Okay.
Yeah. So processing 11 pounds of blueberry is a lot. It's a lot more. And then I realized what they want you to do is wash them, allow them to dry, and then put them on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and put them into your freezer. Allow them to freeze. And this is how you slowly batch through and I'm like, first off, I have a side-by-side freezer. This is not happening. Nothing is fitting in. Nothing is fitting in
smaller trays, right?
Yeah, little teeny trays. No, I wash them, let them dry, and then I put them in open bags in the refrigerator for several hours, which naturally dehydrates them. Right? And then I threw them in the freezer because I'm like, I don't have time for this.
You can make some freezer jam, right?
Yes.
Blueberry freezer jam. You do that?
Yeah, we've got recipes planned, but it's a lot. So.
Lots of blueberry pancakes in your future.
And muffins.
Some muffins for sure, right? Yeah. Right, there you go. So I made some bagels this week.
Nice.
Just talking about. I was reading a book. Susan got me this book for Christmas a while back. It's just called The History of Bagels. Whatever.
Okay.
And I was just reading it. I was reading it and I was like, man, I really want a bagel.
Yeah.
So I made some. And
Perfect.
I called Susan. I was like, hey, I need you to do me a favor, and would you stop and get some cream cheese on the way home? Because I accidentally made bagels today.
What? So, was not expecting this conversation to end with that statement, but okay.
Yeah, she was not mad at it, though. So,
yeah, I mean...
she was like, of course.
Absolutely. Flavor. Yeah. Nice. So, yeah, we're excited. We'll see.
All right.
Okay. Well, we'll do this again soon.
I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Ah!
Yes. Excellent.
Live and in person. There we go.
That's what we'll do.
Yes.
Indeed. Okay. Well,
so stay tuned, listeners, for Lake Part 2. Here we go.
A repeating event. It's our second annual.
Yeah. Here we go.
We'll see you soon. Love you.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.